Hey everybody, it's Jeff Garber, mortgage expert, and if you are considering buying or even selling, but are sitting on the sideline because of information that you're getting from the media or possibly advice from other people, you really could be missing out. And a phrase that went around this week, the best analogy that I've heard since I started doing this in 2005, and because we were and possibly still are in a rising rate environment, when you're looking to buy a house, the phrase is marry the house and date the rate. And I love that. I wish I made it up. I wish that was mine, but it's not. So I have to give credit to whoever did that. But what does that mean? All right. Now I want to go a little bit deeper than the statement, than the surface there of marry the house, date the rate. So marry the house, obviously, that's the easy part, right? We want to find the house that you want to be in, possibly for a long time. And that's why we say we're going to marry the house. But one thing we know is that we always date the rate, okay? Because when mortgage rates go down, typically people refinance. Or when people need money and the equity is there and they want to harvest or pull out some equity and have it working for them in other areas, you can then do a refinance to pull out equity and possibly use that for other things such as home improvement, college, buying second homes, investment properties, even investing in vehicles that earn more of a rate of return than your house pays you, because your house pays you zero. So in this market, with rates going up, the one thing we know for sure is we see that rates will come down again at some point in time. They always do. And when that happens, whether that's 12 months, 24 months down the road, that's going to create a refinance boom again. And many people who purchase in the year 2022 that has rates in the fives, if rates come down into the fours, there's probably a refinance opportunity that's going to help you out. And I want to share with you a little bit more into the weeds on why I'm telling you this, okay? I'm not preying on your emotions here, okay? A lot of big banks and online lenders are going to try to have you refi no matter what. They will always make it sound good. But let me tell you something. The numbers don't lie, all right? It's all about the math behind this. And I think when you see this, it might make you reconsider, hey, you know what? Maybe I can buy in this market, knowing that down the road I can refinance. So I'm going to get myself out of the way here, and I'm going to show you an example of assuming that you bought, let me spell this out for you first. So let's assume you bought a house for $350,000. Let's say you had a loan amount of $350,000 and your interest rate was 5.75. I am making up these numbers. These are not quotes. These are just illustration examples, okay? But you'll see the math doesn't lie. So your rate is 5.75, okay? Let's say in 2 years from now, so you've been paying for 24 months, we can lower your interest rate to 4.75, 1 full point. Okay, now on the surface, you might be saying that's not going to do very much, whatnot. But let's see how this plays out, because this is the most powerful part of what you need to know and what I'm trying to tell you here. All right, so I'm going to move out of the way. Now, what I'm showing you here is I have a calculator that I can do a double amortization and show you how this works. So what I did was I did a $350,000 loan, 360 payments, which is 30 years at 5.75. Okay, and that shows me that the monthly principal and interest only, don't worry about taxes and insurance. All right, we just need to do principal and interest, and we're going to go apples to apples. That would be $2,043. Now in 2 years, all right, and I'll show you this, your loan amount is going to be $340. Okay, now let's just say that we have to roll in closing costs and escrow again. Okay, and again, I'm making this up, but it should be pretty close. And your new loan amount in 2 years is all the way back to $350. Now at this point, many people say it's not worth it for me to do. Why would I want my loan amount to go all the way back to $350, and why do I want to start my amortization all over again? And those are great questions, but let's see how the numbers work, because I think once you understand this, it could change the way you think about money and mortgages. So we have a new loan amount 2 years later back to $350 on a 30-year with an annual rate of 4.75. And now look, the principal and interest goes down to $1,826. All right, so if I pull out my calculator, all right, 2043 minus 1826, that's $217 a month in savings. Okay. Now, at this point, many people are already thinking, wow, okay, that sounds good. All right. But if that doesn't sound good, if you're going to say it's only $217 a month, well, let's take that a step further. $217 a month times 12 is $2,600 a year. All right. And if you look at me, obviously you can't look at me. I can see that that was the wrong terminology there. But if we're speaking in 2 years, and you tell me that you're going to be in this property for another 10 years or so, and we can save you $2,600 a year, and you multiply that by 10 years, that's $26,000. Okay. Now, if that doesn't do anything for you, if you're still saying, hey, that's not a lot of savings, which by now I'm probably thinking you're agreeing that it is, let's take a look at the numbers here. So here is how I compare the refinance, and I think I'm going to be in the way. So the first thing I did is I looked at year 2, and I can see in the amortization schedule that your loan amount was down to $341 or so. All right, so we brought it back to $350. Now, the first thing I'm going to look at is how much total interest do we pay on this loan. So on the first loan you did, if you did not refinance at all and you kept it for 30 years, you would pay $385,000 in interest alone. Okay. Now, if we refinance, that number comes down to $307. All right. Now, many people will stop here and tell you, hey, you're going to save the difference between the $385 and the $307, which is $78,000 of interest. Okay. Now, what we want to do here is we want to be honest with you and say, hey, look, you've already had the house for 2 years. So you've already paid $40,000 in interest right here. Okay. So let's say you kept this loan for 2 years. You paid $40,000 here. You're going to start a new loan that you say you're going to keep for 30 years. And you're at $307 here. So $307 plus the $40,000 that you've already paid is $347,000. So what the deal is here is you would now not be paying $385. You'd be paying $385 minus $347, and we would then be saying that you're going to save $38,000 of interest. So let me summarize here, because I know I've kind of given you a lot of information here. So what we did was we started with a $350,000 loan at 5.75%. Okay, we lowered your rate to 4.75. All right, we saved you about $220 or so a month, and if you didn't do anything from this point out, you'd save $38,000 of interest. Okay, now that's the true way to handle and analyzing the refi. But let's take this another step further. Let's say you were okay with your payment where it was, all right, at the top of this amortization, which was what, 2000 and I'm in the way here. So 2043. So let's say you were okay with that, all right, and we were able to save you $220 a month. All right, well now watch this. Look at how we can now start to create wealth and be your own bank. Okay, let me get myself out of the way. And now I'm going to switch gears and I'm going to go to a rule of 72 calculator. All right, and this is my favorite calculator in the entire world because it's based on compound interest, which Albert Einstein said is the 8th wonder of the world. All right, a popular quote is, you're either a victim of compound interest or you're earning it. Okay, being a victim of it means you have credit card debt with high interest rates that you pay month after month, and you are paying the bank compound interest, and they become wealthy off of that. All right, if you want to learn how to earn it on your own, well, let's just pick up where we left off. So you're 2 years in, your $350,000 loan. We're going to start all over, and we're going to bring the amortization back to 30 years. All right, but we're going to save you $220 a month, and we're going to save you $38,000 in total interest paid if you don't refinance or sell for the duration of the mortgage. Okay, so we've already put you in a much better financial position right there. But let's say you were okay with that $220 payment, and we have a lump sum of $0 to invest, but you decide you're going to open up a side account, and I encourage you to get with a financial planner on this. Don't try to do this yourself. And let's just assume right now that you earn a 6% rate of return on your money. All right, and you're going to let's say you're going to stay, you tell me, hey, I'm staying in this house for 30 years and you want to compare it all the way out. Well, if we put 30 years in, all right, that 220 can grow to a couple $100,000. All right, and that's if you have a conservative rate of 6% rate of return. Let's say you get 9% rate of return. And again, this is not financial advice. What I am doing is showing you how compound interest works by you putting $220 a month away and earning a rate of return on your money that you're going to get with a financial planner. Okay? Let's say your financial planner is able to average you 9% rate of return. Well, you can now generate $400,000 in your investment. Okay, the idea is at the end of the day, when we're looking at rate, when we're looking at dating the rate, marrying the house and date the rate, we know that many people don't keep their loan for 30 years. All right, they refinance when rates come down. In fact, we just, obviously everybody who has a house, we've already refinanced pretty much everybody, right? When the rates were in the 2s and 3s, okay? Well, now we jumped up to the 5, so we know we're going to create another refi boom. But, it's not just about the refinance itself. It's about looking at the big picture. It's looking at your finances and your structure, your debt structure, your asset structure, your goals, and where you want to be. And that's the conversation you need to have when you want to analyze a refinance, okay? You don't want to fall victim to any emotional sales pitch saying refinance, we can lower your payment, or, and then they stop right there. All right, we need to look at this thing from start to finish. We want to see where you're at. All right, we want to see what the new rate would do, what the new loan amount would be. We want to see how much interest you've already paid, and then we want to match your total interest. And the reason I bring the total interest up is because everybody wants to compare 30 years. It's really funny. Everybody says, well, I need the lowest rate because over the long run, it's going to save me a lot of money. And yeah, that's true if you keep this mortgage for the long run. And many people don't. They refinance maybe not once, but maybe a couple times for different reasons. One, to lower rate, one, to pull money out of the house. So we don't know because life is always changing. It's always throwing something at us. So we can only go case by case and situation by situation. So when I'm reviewing a client for a refinance, all right, we're only going to do it if it makes sense. And what I like to do is show you everything on a Zoom call, just like this. We take your scenario, all right, we'll pull up double amortization schedule. We'll show you exactly where you're at in your loan and exactly how much interest you've paid. We'll create the new loan. We'll set it up. We'll figure out what that new loan amount's going to be. We're going to figure out what that new principal and interest payment's going to be. Then we're going to see how much money we can save you monthly. And then we can multiply that by 12 and figure out how much money we're going to save you yearly. Then on top of that, we're going to look at the interest you've paid year to date on your current loan and what the total interest would be on the new loan. And then we're going to show you how much you would save in total interest if you kept the loan for 30 years or even less. You can clearly look at the amortization schedule at any point in time and see exactly how much interest you have paid, and therefore you will know exactly how much you have saved. So at the end of the day, it's about lowering your monthly payment, all right, and saving you total interest over the life of your loan. That's the main part. Then the third part is, hey, what are we doing with the savings? All right. Some people will say to me, hey, Jeff, why don't I just throw that back into my mortgage and pay the same amount? Well, you certainly can do that as well. And you will knock even more years off the loan and save more interest, but there might be a better place for that savings. There might be a place where you can earn a rate of return on your money, okay, and let that grow on your sidelines. And then at a later date, you could decide to pay off the mortgage if you want, or you have the money available if you need it for other things. I am a big proponent of 3 things when it comes to money. All right, and that is safety of your money, liquidity of your money, and rate of return on your money. So what does safety mean? Well, safety means I want my money to be safe so that it's there for me when I need it, okay? So safety to me is not safe in my house, all right? Because if I'm stockpiling money in my house and I need it, all right, I can't get it unless I sell or refinance. So to me, it's not safe. Because what if I lose my job or become disabled and I can no longer qualify for a refi and all of my money is stuck in my house and I can't get it? i.e. 2008, 9, 10, right? All those foreclosures were because many of those foreclosures were people lost their jobs due to the recession and they couldn't get their money out. So they not only lose all of that equity and money, they lose their home, and i.e. we don't want to rehash 2000. I think everybody kind of knows what happened there. How do you avoid that? Well, you separate your money. Don't put it all in your house. All right, get it separate where it's safe. Then liquidity. Well, that means being able to access your money. So if you get with a financial planner and you're on a plan to put your $220 savings away each month and that account is growing, well, guess what? That money is in a side account that will be available for you if you need it. It's not in a retirement account. It's actually your own money. It's yours. And if you're disciplined enough to leave it alone, that's awesome. But if you need it, it's there for you. If you do lose your job, all right, maybe you now have a 3, 4, 5 months reserve so you don't have to panic or possibly be in a situation to have to sell your house or be foreclosed on. And then rate of return. So as I've said, and I have on my YouTube page, Instruction Manual for Mortgage, I have 3 videos on there that I really talk in depth about this, my holistic approach to money and financing, my complete approach. But to summarize it for you, rate of return, your house does not pay you a rate of return on your money, all right? Let's say you have a $200,000 purchase price and you pay cash. You put $200,000 of your hard-earned money into your house. Well, guess what? Your house isn't going to pay you interest on that $200,000, right? That's now dead money sitting in your house earning zero, right? Let's not mix that up with appreciation, right? Let's say you buy a $200,000 home and it appreciates 3% a year every year. So that means your $200,000 house, I pull out my calculator here, plus 3% is $206,000 the first year, plus another 3%. All right, and in year 2, my house is worth $212,000. All right, whether I have a mortgage on that house or I paid cash, that appreciation could happen regardless. In other words, if I take my $200,000 and I put it in my house, I'm gonna earn 0% rate of return because my house does not pay me interest. However, if I take that $200,000 I get with a financial planner, and my financial planner and I come up with a plan that we're going to put $200,000 away and let it earn compound interest, all right, well then you will see that money grow as well. So when you put the 3 together, you now have safety of your money because it's not all in your house, liquidity because it's not all in your house, and you have rate of return because it's not all in your house. Houses were meant to store people, not money. Banks will tell you otherwise, all right, because they play on your emotions. They want you to pay extra on your mortgage. They want you to put all your money into your house. Guess why? Because they're going to take your money and they're going to invest it and they're going to earn the compound interest on it because banks know how to make money and they don't teach you how to make money. They play on your emotions, all right? So we want to teach you how to become your own bank. And that's why, in a nutshell, we say marry the house, date the rate, because we can restructure your loan based on your financial needs if it makes sense for what your goals are. So I hope this helps. I did get a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I really wanted to emphasize this point that in this market, all right, don't not buy a house because rate is a little higher than where it was, right? It's not permanent, okay? Rates will come down at some point. They always do. And there will be refi opportunities for you and they could make sense. Not every time, all right? If you're only going to be in the house for maybe 2 years or 3 years, leave it alone, all right? I would do an analysis for you and tell you that right off the bat, you won't recoup the costs. It's not going to make sense. So you want to get a proper analysis before you do a refinance. Again, to summarize real quickly, when we lower your rate, we want to show you how much money we could save you a month. We want to show you how much interest you could save over the life of the loan or how long you're going to be in the house. And then we want to have strategies involved for you to take that difference and apply it where it needs to go. All right, maybe that's an investment account. Maybe that's paying off some other debt you have that has high interest rates. Maybe it's starting a reserve account. Maybe it's starting a college savings account. Okay, there's a lot of things you can do with that. Even throwing it back in and paying your house off if you want to. Okay, doing something with it is better than doing nothing with it. And that is the idea behind this, and that is why I made this video. If you would like to learn more, please subscribe to my YouTube page, mortgageinstructionmanual.com, where I try to put up videos answering questions that I get all the time, videos on money and how it works, so that you could be better educated and allow myself and my information to be the instruction manual that you don't get when you get a mortgage. So I hope this was helpful, and I will catch up with you later.